Are the Packers legitimately Super Bowl contenders this year?
As usual, the answer is yes, because they have Aaron Rodgers, but now there's more to it. Look, last year, first-year head coach for the Packers, Matt LaFleur, had something to prove, right? Did he really deserve that job? They won 13 games, right? The answer is, yeah, he did have something to prove, and he proved it, like right out the gate. The stuff he was doing worked. They relied less on Rodgers, in fact. But think about that for a second. Rodgers is adjusting to a new system. It relies less on him, and as a result, he was kind of off, and maybe because of age. But like superhuman Aaron Rodgers still had a good statistical year by the measures of almost anyone, but not by him. And just the eyeball test even told you he could do better than that, or certainly he has. So who has something to prove now? Aaron Rodgers has something to prove now. Is he still elite? Is he still in his prime, or as good as just about anyone? Now, here's the scary thing. Have the Packers gotten worse in the offseason? Look, should they have drafted Jordan Love, given what they have now? I don't think so. Maybe they needed a receiver, right? Some first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers to throw to for a change. But the bottom line remains, Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest who ever did it. Until I saw Mahomes, I thought Aaron Rodgers the best I've ever seen with my own eyes. Not the most accomplished, but the best. That Aaron Rodgers, or some semblance of him, just came off a 13-win season with a playoff win against an 11-win team and Russell Wilson, who's replaced Rodgers as the guy other than Mahomes on most people's lists. Russell Wilson. Rodgers' team beat Wilson's team in the playoffs last year, an 11-win team. Not just that they won 13 games, they won a playoff game against a very good team and a great quarterback and coach, right? That Rodgers now adjusted to the system, now with that first year under his belt and something to prove, even if you think the Packers got worse or didn't get better enough in the offseason, they were knocking on the door last year, and I expect Rodgers to be significantly better than he was. So as usual, because of him, they are a Super Bowl contender.
Well, listen, I'm not going to emphatically disagree, because I guess from a technical or theoretical standpoint, they're 13-3 and in the NFC Championship game. That qualifies for contender status, even though I would tell you they got romped in the NFC Championship game and it wasn't even close. So as far as I'm concerned, they barely look like they belong there. But the reason I'm going to go with the no in this particular instance, I will openly confess to you, Ryan Clark, this is strictly emotional. I'm so disgusted by the Green Bay Packers, I refuse to classify them as contenders, because as far as I'm concerned, the more appropriate word that comes along with them are pretenders. They are an organization that pretends to compete, that pretends that they are in pursuit of a Super Bowl championship, that pretends as if they appreciate their all-world, first ballot, future Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, who's a bad man still. This dude right here is so unappreciated. I'm so disgusted with this organization. I wish a pox falls on their house and all their cheese in the state of Wisconsin is contaminated because of it. They make me sick. And here's why. You can look at the Green Bay Packers, right? And clearly, despite having, Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, despite having those dudes, they clearly needed upgrades at the wide receiver spot. They could use a tight end other than Mercedes Lewis. It would be nice if they could have traded for an O.J. Howard or somebody like that. Didn't happen. And obviously showing a level of appreciation for Aaron Rodgers will go a long way. Instead, let's count the ways, because I took the liberty, Ryan, of looking up the wide receivers who were available before the Green Bay Packers had picks. Let's count the ways. Okay, we got a wide receiver here in Ruggs that was picked up by the Las Vegas Raiders, all right, at number 12. We've got Jerry Jeudy, heard that name, coming out of Alabama, who, by the way, we were shocked Ruggs were taken before him, because Jerry Jeudy was all-world. Even though I didn't like a couple of passes he dropped against LSU, that's a different subject for another day. That kind of hurt my feelings.
Hey,
Alabama to win that game.
Won championship.
But that is it. I understand that.
He was
But
the
Jerry
biggest
Judy's
name
a
in the
bad
receiver
boy,
draft.
no question. He should have been picked. Oh, by the way, Max, I didn't even get to CeeDee Lamb. He was after Jerry Judy and Ruggs, okay? And then last but not least, your brother Justin Jefferson from LSU. Remember that brother Ryan Clark? He got picked as well. I'm sorry, all of these dudes. And he got picked after Jalen Reagor, okay, by the Eagles. So I just named you 5, count them, 5 receivers that would have upgraded the weapons that Aaron Rodgers would have had available to him without even getting to the tight end spot. And what did they do? They sat up there and called themselves contenders, right? But they draft the backup in Jordan Love, who, by the way, has promise and might end up being a pretty damn good, if not great, quarterback down the line. But he certainly ain't the dude that's expected to show up within the next couple of years. So if you thought of yourself as a contender, what the hell are you doing drafting a successor to a brother that's all-world, that's anticipated to be all-world for at least the next couple of years when you could have upgraded at the wide receivers position? They clearly don't think of themselves as true contenders, so why the hell should I? No, I'm not giving the Green Bay Packers contender status because they don't think that way of themselves. If they did, they wouldn't have drafted Aaron Rodgers' successor. Instead, they would have drafted one of them damn receivers to help the brother out. That's all I got to say.
Listen, I'm a lot less emotional than Stephen A is about this, but I actually agree with him. And Max is right. Listen, they went 13-3 last year and they got to the NFC Championship. Max, I was on a team that won the Super Bowl and didn't make the playoffs. Because that happens, because every year is a different year. And every year, if you aren't improving and other teams around you are, you get left behind. So that happens. We can't just sit here and say because Matt LaFleur comes in his first year and this team is 13-3 that we see that repeat itself. Because you also have to look at why it did. The Smiths were amazing. Preston and Zadarius, who they got in free agency in the offseason. You added Amos in the back end and you draft Savage Jr. You also have 2 good young corners. But as the season went along, that defense didn't play as well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.